Hi, welcome to Bits and Proofs. Today's a foundations lesson. What is a token? Tokens are the unit every language model runs on, and they quietly decide two things you care about: how much your prompt costs and whether it even fits. Here is the idea to hold on to. A model never actually sees your words. It sees tokens, and tokens are what you pay for. Cost is charged per token. Limits, like the context window, are measured in tokens. And even speed is per token, since the model generates one token at a time. So before anything else, let's see what one token actually is. When you send text to a model, the first thing that happens is tokenization. Your sentence is split into small pieces called tokens. Notice that the pieces are not always whole words. Long or unusual words break apart into smaller chunks. Each of those chunks is one token, and the total count is what drives both the cost and the size of the request. So a token is not a word. A tokenizer chops text into common subword pieces. Frequent words stay whole, and rare or long words get split. Let's look at some quick examples. A short common word like cat is a single token. But tokenization splits into two pieces: tokenization. Two tokens for one word. Telugu script is byte level for the tokenizer. The word for namaste in Telugu uses 12 tokens for just 6 characters. The script is simply not well represented in the training vocabulary. And Hindi is similar. The word for Hindi itself uses 6 tokens. The pattern holds across most Indic scripts. Non-English text costs many more tokens per character than English does. So why does this happen? The tokenizer was trained mostly on English text. Common English words got their own dedicated tokens. Scripts like Telugu and Hindi, which appear far less in the training data, fall back to raw byte sequences. So the same meaning costs far more tokens. Take hello in English, 1 token for 5 characters. Hindi for the same idea, 6 tokens. Telugu, 12 tokens. Same meaning, very different cost. If you are building for a non-English audience, this difference adds up fast. You do not need to count by hand, but a rough rule of thumb helps. In English, 1 token is about 4 characters, or roughly 3/4 of a word. So 100 tokens is about 75 words, and a full page of text is around 500 tokens. Just remember that other languages, code, and JSON often use more tokens per character than plain English does. Here is the first reason tokens matter: the context window. The context window is the model's working memory, and it is measured in tokens. The important part, your input and the model's output share the same budget. The prompt, the system instructions, the conversation history, and the reply all draw from one fixed pool. Go over that budget and either the oldest tokens fall out of memory or the call is rejected outright. Fitting inside the window is a token problem. Different models offer very different context windows. Claude 3.5 Sonnet holds 200,000 tokens, which is roughly 400 pages of text. GPT-4o holds 128,000, around 250 pages. And Gemini 1.5 Pro holds 1 million tokens, enough for 2,000 pages. But a bigger window does not mean a free lunch. You pay for every token you send, so a longer context means a larger bill per call. The window tells you what fits. Your job is to decide what actually needs to be there. The second reason tokens matter is cost. You pay per token, and there are 2 kinds. Input tokens are your prompt and context. Output tokens are the model's reply. Input is cheaper per token, output is more expensive, and you control input by how much you send and output with a max tokens limit. Pricing is usually quoted per million tokens, and output almost always costs more than input. So a chatty model that writes long answers can cost far more than the prompt you sent it. Here is something that surprises most beginners. If you use ChatGPT or Claude.ai through the browser, you pay a flat monthly subscription. The tokens are handled for you, and you do not see the bill per message. But when you call the API directly, everything changes. You pay per token on every single call. Your system prompt is billed on every request. Your conversation history is resent and rebuilt every turn. And images cost roughly 1,500 tokens each. The tokens themselves are identical in both cases. What changes is who counts them and who charges you for them. One more surprise, some models reason before they answer. That internal reasoning is generated as tokens and billed as output tokens. With a standard model, your prompt goes in and the answer comes out. Output tokens equal the answer only. With a reasoning model like Claude with extended thinking or OpenAI o3, the model generates a chain of thought before answering. That thinking can be 5 to 10 times longer than the final reply, and you pay for all of it. So what does this look like in real numbers? Claude 3.5. Sonnet costs roughly $3 per million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. GPT 4.0 is around $250 input and $10 output. Gemini 1.5 Pro is lower still at about $125 and $5. A typical short API call costs fractions of a cent. But an agent running 50 calls with long history or a reasoning model generating thousands of thinking tokens can easily cost a few dollars in one session. Once you see cost as tokens, you start noticing what quietly inflates it. First, resend history. Every turn of a conversation resends the entire chat so far. A long conversation pays for its own past over and over. Second, stuffed context. Pasting a whole document or file into the prompt can add thousands of tokens to a single call. And third, verbose formats. Code, JSON, and non-English text pack more tokens into the same number of characters. None of these are mistakes. You just want to see them coming before the bill does. Here is the good news. If you send the same large context repeatedly, like a long system prompt, a document, or a code base, providers can cache it after the first call and charge far less on every read after that. Claude offers up to 90% off on cached input tokens. OpenAI offers around 50% off. The first write to the cache costs slightly more, but every subsequent read is much cheaper. If your agent resends a 50,000 token codebase on every call, caching can cut your input bill by 90%. For high-volume API work, this is one of the most impactful optimizations available. The good news, you can count tokens before you ever pay for a call. Every major provider ships a tokenizer you can run locally on your own machine for free. Counting first lets you predict the cost and check that the request fits the window before you send it. Here, 3 words encode to 4 tokens. The word tokenizers itself splits into tokenizers, and we knew that without calling the API. So 3 things to take with you. 1. Tokens, not words. Models read subword chunks, roughly 4 characters each, in English. 2. Limits are tokens. Input and output share one context budget, so what should fill up? And 3, cost is tokens. Count before you send, and remember, output is the expensive part, so cap it. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, hit subscribe. More AI engineering content is coming soon. And while you are here, check out the other AI engineering videos already on the channel. See you in the next one.